They will never teach you this Spanish in school. Y dudo que sepas la última frase. Si ya sábanas, ¿pa' qué cobijas? You thought you were going to get some ChatGPT stuff in this video, but boy, were you wrong. Hoy te has topado con el gringo más mexicano que jamás vas a ver en tu vida. So, buckle up and make sure you watch till the end because you are going to learn some real Mexican Spanish that is going to impress native speakers. This phrase means, if you already know, why do you ask? It's a fun wordplay. So the word sábanas means sheets, but it sounds like the word sabes, meaning you know. Then we use the word cobijas, which means blankets. And it doesn't necessarily sound like any other word, but it just goes nicely with the word sábanas. For example, oye, nos vemos a las 8, ¿verdad? Simón, si ya sábanas, ¿pa' qué cobijas? Simón is slang for yes, so instead of saying sí, you can say Simón, and pa' qué is just a shortened version of para qué. If you want to learn more real Spanish just like this, click the link in the video description or go to SpanishWithNate.com to join our Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Do you struggle to speak Spanish? Do you freeze up and forget basic words? If so, the Academy can help you have real conversations in 90 days with your Spanish-speaking friends, family members, customers, coworkers, and even patients. We have more than 650 students getting results. Click the link in the video description or go to SpanishWithNate.com to join today. Ya te la sabes. Typically, this just means you already know. And if you want to be cute, you can say ya te la sabritas. In Mexico, Sabritas is the brand Lay's in the United States. But if you are in Mexico City and someone comes up to you, probably from behind, and says, ya te la sabes, congratulations, you are getting robbed. Ya te la sabes, carnal. This just means you know the drill, you already know what's going on, you're getting robbed, give me your stuff. Se cree la última Coca-Cola del desierto. Literally, he thinks he's the last Coca-Cola in the desert, aka he's stuck up, aka he's full of himself, he thinks he's all that. Of course, if you're in the hot desert and come across a Coca-Cola, it might be one of the best days of your life. But if you want to tell someone that they're full of themselves, just say, Oy sí, tú que te crees la última Coca-Cola del desierto. Another funny example could be, no me cae bien Juan, se cree el muy muy. If someone thinks that they're the muy muy, literally the very very, it's the same idea. They're full of themselves or they're stuck up. No mameyes en tiempos de aguacates. Literally, don't mameyes, which is a kind of fruit, in times of avocados. Why say no manches when you could say this? Now, you might have heard no manches in Mexico, which means no way or for real. The literal translation being don't stain. But if you hear no manches, it just means no way or for real. The vulgar version of no manches would be no mames. But instead of swearing, we can do this funny version, which would be no mameyes en tiempos de aguacates. We just add the aguacates part because it goes with the theme of mamey being a fruit, and mamey sounds like mames. Ya nos cayó el chahuistle. This means that your plans have been ruined or some problem has come up. Literally, this translates to the chahuistle has fallen upon us. The word chahuistle comes from the Nahuatl word chahuitzli, which is a kind of disease that affects corn leaves, ultimately ruining the plant. Chahuistle is not to be confused with the word huitlacoche, which is a kind of fungus or corn smut that is found in Mexico. It's a delicacy and it's very common to eat it with something like a quesadilla. So, for example, we could say, perdí la chamba y me enfermé. Ya me cayó el chahuistle. Que pachuca por Toluca. Literally, this means what pachuca in Toluca. But this just means what's up or what's going on. People say this because it rhymes, and many would consider this español del barrio. For example, que pachuca por Toluca, mi rey. Presta para la orquesta. Literally, this means lend for the orchestra. But if someone says to you, presta pa la orquesta, what they want you to do is lend them something or give them something. For example, if your friend has an ice-cold Coca-Cola and you want some, you could say, oye, güey, presta pa la orquesta. Please, give me some. Achis, achis los mariachis. The word achis is used to express surprise or disbelief, and we can add on the los mariachis part to make it rhyme and sound fun. You may have noticed the common theme here. Mexicans love to rhyme things. So for example, amigo, se te cayeron 500 pesos. Achis, achis los mariachis. Muchas gracias. Ahí nos vidrios. Why say ahí nos vemos when we could say ahí nos vidrios? This means see you later, and you could think of this as the English equivalent of see you later alligator. The word vidrio means glass in Spanish, and the reason people say this is because, well, it's more fun to say ahí nos vidrios than it is to say ahí nos vemos.
Ahí nos vidrios.
Dar vuelta a la tortilla. Literally, this means to flip the tortilla. However, when people say this, it's referring to when a situation has been reversed, often from negative to positive. For example, íbamos a perder el partido, pero dimos vuelta a la tortilla y ganamos. Nel pastel. A funny way that people will sometimes say no in Mexico is nel. So, why say no when you could say nel pastel? This is basically like in English when we say no way Jose. Nel pastel. Ya estufas. Already stoves. ¿Qué? If we want to say that something is ready, done, or understood, we commonly say ya estuvo. While the word estufas literally means stoves, it kind of sounds like the word estuvo. So, ¿ya hiciste la tarea? Sí, ya estufas. Aguanta vara, amigo, ya casi terminas. This just means hang in there. We use it to encourage someone during a tough time. So, for example, aguanta vara, amigo, ya casi terminas. ¡Qué pasión! What? Passion? ¿Qué? Instead of saying, ¿qué pasa? Or ¿qué pasó? Why not spice it up a little bit and say, ¿qué pasión? The word pasión sounds similar to pasa or pasó, so it's a funny replacement. ¿Qué pasión? We can also use the phrase, ¿qué húbole? Mexicans many times will say, ¿qué hubo? To say to someone, what's up? Literally meaning, what was there? But if you want to sound extra pro, add le onto the end of this and then just say it really fast. ¿Qué húbole? So if you want to say what's up to someone in Mexico, you can say, ¿qué pasión? Or ¿qué húbole? No te hagas. Literally, this translates to don't do or make yourself, but it just means don't play dumb or don't act like you don't know. The original phrase is no te hagas pato, literally don't be a duck, but most commonly you're just going to hear people say no te hagas. You could also say no te hagas güey. For example, no te hagas, sé que tienes mi cartera. Don't play dumb, I know you have my wallet. Asu. When you hear someone say this, it means they are shocked or surprised by something. So let's say you go out to buy a new t-shirt and you see the price tag and you go, asu, that's an expensive t-shirt. This originally comes from the full phrase, a su madre, but that sounds rude, so better to say asu. You can also use the funny word hora, and it's mostly used when someone says something out of pocket. For example, le mentí para que me diera el dinero. Hora. You can also use the famous phrase, órale, to express surprise, and it's typically a positive thing. So, for example, órale, acabo de encontrar 10 pesos. And finally, I bet you don't know this one, prendes el boiler y no te metes a bañar. When you turn on the boiler or water heater, What happens? Well, it gets hot. So why would you turn on the water heater and then not bathe? It doesn't make sense. Well, when someone prende el boiler y no se mete a bañar, it's because they turn someone on, but they don't do anything about it. They're a tease. How many of these did you know? Do you know any other funny Mexican sayings? Leave a comment down below letting us know. Make sure to like this video and subscribe, and if you'd like to learn real Spanish, click the link in the video description or go to SpanishNate.com to join our Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Ahí nos vidrios!